Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm actually going to be talking about a TV show. I normally talk about movies here on this channel, but today I am going to be talking about my overall non-spoiler thoughts of the second season of the show, The Last of Us, which is an HBO Max original show. I really enjoyed the first Last of Us show. I guess quickly going over my thoughts on season one without spoiling anything on that either. I don't recall ever doing a video on that one, so I'll probably just quickly go over that. I really like that first season of The Last of Us. I'm also a big fan of the Naughty Dog games. You know, they did Crash Bandicoot and the Jak and Daxter games as well as The Last of Us. So I really like what they do as a game company. I have, a PlayStation 2 and a PSP and a couple of other Sony ones. I don't have like the really recent ones like a PS5 or anything. But as far as the games I have played from them, they're all extremely good. So I had no question at all that Last of Us would translate well into a TV show after just how excellent the games were. Um, so that's overall, I would say season one is just an absolutely great show of television. It's just the great season of television as well. Um, they really did a lot of stuff in that first season that I thought was really quite good. I thought they wrapped things up really well. Set things up for this new season really well. And the whole story of Joel and Ellie and all the characters that they've encountered. I remember the story of those two brothers too. That episode really got to me for sure. I think that was the fourth episode of season one. So just a ton of stuff that they covered in that first season. And so going into season two, I was really excited to see what they were going to do next with the show. And I am happy to report that season two overall is a very good season. There's a couple things about it that I'm going to try to get into detail on, in a non-spoiler territory kind of way. But overall, great season of television. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with season three. And I am going to go over some positives and negatives as to, why the season was great, but why it probably wasn't as good as season one overall. But there's still some things about it that I think are very good. And hopefully season three will kind of fix the wrongs of things that haven't gone right so far with season one or season two. So let's kind of go into those. And like I said, this is a non-spoiler. So if you haven't seen every episode of the show, if you haven't seen any episodes of the show, I am going to try to keep this as clean as possible while also still getting the point across of what I am trying to say, whether it is a positive or a negative thing. So let's kind of dive into some stuff here that I think is really good about the show and some things I think they could have worked on overall. So for my overall positive thoughts of season two of the show, you guys, I thought the Ellie and Dina stuff was really good. All their material was great. It really is one of those things where the show does kind of have to evolve, introduce us some new characters. They are, Joel and Ellie are being thrown into new scenarios now. And the show absolutely had to have a third crucial character. And I think they absolutely nailed it with Isabela Merced's Dina character. I really like the way she played the character as well. Very heartwarming, very welcoming. She clearly, her and Ellie bond very quickly. Joel and Ellie are living in like this Wyoming community ever since we last saw them from season one, and her and Ellie just really click right away. And so the show really dives into that, how they really are bonding with each other, and that Ellie's making these difficult decisions where Dina feels like she has to go on this journey with her as well because she does care about her that much. So all the stuff with Ellie and Dina I thought was very good here. They get a lot of opportunity to shine as the two of them working together a lot in the show. So everything involving their two characters, specifically them bonding, I thought was very strong in this season. And though we don't get a lot of it, and I can't say why, on the parts where we do get a lot of Joel and Ellie moments, specifically, the two of them bonding or the two of them, kind of breaking apart a little bit based off some things that they find out about each other. I thought all the Joel and Ellie moments were very good here in the season. There's one moment I obviously can't share right now, but there's one moment that really does get to you pretty bad. And it does kind of make you digest it as you're continuing your day after you're done seeing it and stuff like that. But all the stuff with Joel and Ellie I thought was very great here. So if you like that aspect of season one, absolutely they continue it here in season two. And their moments together I thought were very strong here. And overall too, and I thought I had this compliment about the first season as well. The writing and the directing of the show is absolutely excellent. HBO is very good about finding the best writers, the best directors, getting the best possible people they can to really bring these bringing IP to life, bringing material to life onto the screen. All the directing, all the writing, I thought was very, very good here. Whether it is the characters, whether it is the scenarios that they run into, whether it is them adapting a moment from the game and trying to make it effective as a TV show. All the directing and all the writing here was extremely effective. I was very, very happy with what they did here. There's also an addition of a lot of big game moments and deleted content from the games that they incorporated into the show. Very, very effective here, whether it is Ellie playing a guitar, or whether it is Ellie encountering a religious cult at the last second or anything like that. There's all the stuff that they added in I thought was very, very effective. They definitely found a way to incorporate it into the show without it standing out too much or anything like that. So the addition of the big game moments and the deleted content from the games and how they worked their way into the show I thought was also very effective here too. And overall, this Wyoming community that Joel and Ellie live with in the first half of the season, very, very effective for me as well. Like I said, that is where we get to meet Dina. That is where we kind of get to see this character that has a change of heart based on something that Ellie and Dina do at a party that you'll see early on in the season. Just the overall community, the way that they kind of vote on stuff, the way that they work together when a clicker army is attacking the town and stuff. They play into that a little bit in this show as well for the second season. So just overall, this Wyoming community I thought was very effective. How they were written, how they relate to Joel and Ellie and to Dina as well. So just this overall community, how they work their way into the show, how they're going to probably stay relevant within the show as we go into the third season as well, and just them as the community as well. I thought it was a very effective way to write a community of characters within a TV show like this. But for my negatives of the show overall, unfortunately, the season premiere was a little weak for me, and I also thought the season finale was a little weak for me too. And that's really kind of too bad because those are two very crucial parts of writing a season of television. Is you have to start strong and you have to end strong. And it's one of those weird seasons where everything in the middle between the premiere and the finale was all excellent. But once we got to the finale and once we had to, get the show started again, those were kind of the two rough spots for me. Season premiere, had a little more justification to it because we do get to find out a little bit more of what was going on with Joel and Ellie in a later episode. Since there's stuff that happened in between the first and the second season that we haven't seen yet, so that I got a little bit of a justification for. And hopefully season 3 will justify how the finale is as abrupt as it was for this season. For those who have seen the season finale, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Is they leave almost a little too much open. They, they have a lot that they are asking of you to hold on to over the next 2 years, because that's probably when season 3 is going to premiere within about 2 years from now. There's just a lot of stuff that they're asking of you to hold on to and to remember. And yeah, sure, you can have a really good season recap when season 3 starts up. But for me personally, if you really want to wrap up a show, you have to wait. You have to do it the way that season 1 did, where you leave us with a lot of information. You wrap things up in a satisfying way, and by the time season 2 starts, we know exactly where we're at. The recap will obviously help as well, but I thought just the way that the season opened and the way it ended, I thought was a little weak to me. And I do know that they're trying to expand the second game into a third and a fourth season. So I don't know if that means, season 3 is just going to be about Abby, or season 4 is just going to be about Ellie. So we'll have to kind of see what that's going to be all about. Or is season 4 just going to be about her and Dina or something like that again? So it'll be interesting to see what they do in future seasons. But for me personally, I thought there was almost a little too much open by the time the season finale for this happened. I also didn't like either that some of these episodes aren't a full hour of television. Like some of them are only 40 minutes. I think one of them's even like 35 minutes or something ridiculous like that. I know a lot of people don't like that when Disney Plus shows do that. And unfortunately with season 2 of The Last of Us, because I think the first season had, good solid full hours for most of those episodes. This time around, it did kind of feel very apparent that certain episodes weren't a full hour, like they just kind of end, or they explore a topic that really isn't going to take a lot of time to cover over the course of an hour. I do like that the ad free, because I'm on the ad tier plan. I do like how they keep all the ads at the beginning, so by the time the show starts, you don't have to worry about any commercials at all. I thought that was a very terrific move from HBO Max. So hopefully, moving forward on all their ad tier material, hopefully that will be a consistent thing as well. But overall, I didn't like that some of the episodes weren't an overall full hour, because I feel like you get the most out of your TV show when every episode is that full hour to dive into whatever topic you're diving into. I also thought more Abby content when it was needed, and I know this one kind of gets a little bit of a push and a little bit of an excuse because it sounds like season 3 is going to dive into that a lot more. But we really only get about 2.5 episodes of Abby material, and really any other form of it we get in the form of people talking about her. And I feel like for such a crucial character to the Last of Us story, specifically the second game, I really feel like it was important that we did see more of the Abby stuff and what she was doing over the course of the show and stuff like that. Um, so that felt crucial to me. I felt like they could have explored that better. Sounds like season 3 is going to go that route, so hopefully they'll make up for it in the third season. But for me personally, I would have wanted more Abby content. Only about 2.5 episodes of the season has stuff with her in it. I also thought more time with the clickers felt crucial. We get a lot of it in season 1, and I feel like we get a little bit in season 2, and when it hits, it really does hit pretty good. But I feel like we needed more time with them. I don't know if the show was making the point that we're far enough into this apocalypse where the clickers are kind of dying out. Like they're around, but there's not as many as there were by the time the season 1 events were happening. So for me personally, I would have liked to see more of it, specifically when they explore different kinds of clickers, specifically ones that have evolved and have more predatory instincts and stuff like that. So I thought more time could have been spent with that, and I also thought hopefully going into season 3 we are going to see a little bit more of that as well. I also thought more time with the religious cults within the Last of Us universe could have been explored more. We get a little bit of it. We get obviously an understanding of that anybody outside their cult that they have to treat badly, or they have to hurt them or kill them in a really bad way. But for me personally, I thought more time could have been spent with them. It's one of those things where we get just enough of an understanding of them, but I feel like more time is necessary to kind of understand their cult and figure out what exactly they're up to in this Last of Us universe. But overall, guys, I'm going to give this second season of The Last of Us a 9 out of 10. I think it's an excellent season of television. For those who haven't finished it yet or on the fence about watching it, I think absolutely go and watch it for sure. Like I said, all the material between the season premiere and the season finale is all excellent. But for me personally, I thought they could have found a way to wrap up the season in a more effective way, as well as starting it in a more effective way. Even though, like I said, there's more justification to that episode than there originally was. But overall, excellent season of television. I highly recommend watching it. So be sure to check out Last of Us Season 2. Hopefully the third season will be very effective as well. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.